Don't triple my rent. Don't do it. This actually happened. This is a real business story, a real kick in the nuts. And here is episode 3. Today, what I want to talk to you guys about is the story of how I had to move my original location and the lesson I learned and how much it cost me to learn this lesson. Hopefully, it doesn't cost you the same. So, when I first moved down to Florida in May of 2016, I got my first gym open at the end of September of 2016. And because I had really no money, I had no credit, I had no business, past experience, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, I ended up having to take my third or fourth choice in buildings, right? So we looked at a bunch of buildings. I loved the first 3. They were perfect. They were going to crush, and they wouldn't let me in. The landlords didn't like me, or they didn't like my business plan, or blah, 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 right? And so the one that ended up accepting me, I got a really, really great lease rate. And so I was super pumped, but the building was completely trash. It hadn't been used in a while. There was literally crap in the toilet, and the water had been turned off, and it had been in there so long that we had to literally replace the toilet. We had to replace the entire AC unit because none of them worked. And keep in mind, I live in South Florida. So to give you an idea, that first summer before we got it replaced, in the afternoons, it would get up to like 80 something degrees in there because we'd have 50, 60 people working out, and it was less than 3,500 square feet. So anyway, this is what I didn't do when I signed my first lease. I didn't have an extension option, okay, which I learned from every lease there on out to always do. And this one thing alone, guys, this one non-extension option alone cost me about $180,000 to move my location. So at the end of the first 5-year lease, we got ready and we were like, hey, we want to renew our lease. We've been great tenants. We've never missed a payment. We've never been late. We've been crushing it. We want to stay here. We want to continue to be a tenant of yours and continue to pay our bills. And keep in mind, this went all the way through COVID. Even when we were shut down, we still paid 100% of rent because they wouldn't help us out at all. So what we did was basically the landlord came back and said, yeah, we're fine with you staying, but we have a new tenant coming in. And keep in mind, this building was complete trash, okay? Complete trash. So they had we were talking to the property manager and the landlord was like, yeah, we'll renew your lease, but your rent rate is triple. So they wanted to take our rent and triple it because of a tenant that was supposed to come in. And keep in mind, this was at the end of 2020. That tenant didn't open until 2 months ago. So think about how long that was, right? And so we told them, we're like, hey, we'll pay more rent, but it has to be reasonable. And while we're in a construction zone, we're not going to pay more rent to have our customers and our clients have to deal with the construction zone just to operate our business, like just to frequent our business. And they didn't want to play ball at all. They said, nope, this is how it is. You can either pay this or you can fuck off. And so we started shopping locations. We found one about a half a mile down the road from our location in a plaza that wanted us. Obviously, they had seen our business that was moving in there. They had seen the financials. They had seen what we can do. And they were more than happy to even help give us a bunch of TI, which is tenant improvement, right, funds so that we could remove it because it was an old CC's Pizza. And we had to completely gut it, rip out a ton of stuff. It cost us over $150,000 in demo alone just to get that building empty. And keep in mind, we run gyms, so there's not a lot of construction, right? Like it's empty everything out, put in nice bathrooms, put in the epoxy floors, sound systems, equipment, et cetera, et cetera. Just in demolition alone was $150,000. So it was over half of the budget that we had for the gym. And realistically, that's what we had to do. So they basically said, you don't have enough time to get out. You're going to have to close your business or you have to pay us triple the rent. And we called their bluff. We told them, stick it where the sun don't shine. And currently, there's no other tenants in that building. The entire rest of the building, there's only one tenant that was there before, and the other ones are empty. So not only did it not work for us, it didn't work for any of the other tenants either. And so now that landlord's losing his ass, but he's got some big grocery store in there now. And he was like, oh, it's going to be a national chain. It's going to give you so much business. It's going to be worth it, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, all right, who is it? And he wouldn't tell us. Well, I legally can't. Yes, you fucking can. And so basically we went back and forth, and they couldn't prove anything. They couldn't prove worth. They wouldn't help us out during the construction times. They wouldn't do anything like that. So we called their bluff. We moved our business. We opened it January 1st, 2 years ago. And we've been operating ever since. So I want you to think about that, is when you're doing your lease negotiations for brick and mortar business, make sure your lease has an extension option on it and what the increase in rent rate will be on that extension option. Because let me tell you, it could cost you a lot of money. Because what are you going to do if you have a business and then they're going to triple your rent? You can't pay triple rent, so you have to move your business, right? So you either have to close your business or move your business. If you close it, then you have no asset value, right? All that time you built the equity in that business is now gone. So think about that when you're signing a lease. If you ever need help with signing a lease, if you ever want me to, if you ever need help with like questions about lease negotiations, et cetera, I do this for a living with our gyms, and I've been through dozens now, and so I'm really good at it. I know at least what to look for. And what things to watch out for, how to figure out what the landlord wants versus what you want. There's a lot of things that go into this, but if you ever have problems with that, let me know. Otherwise, don't get kicked in the nuts. Thank you for watching episode 3. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See ya.